Hi, thank you for tuning into our video. My name is Adam McElhaney. I'm a firefighter, paramedic, and public education coordinator here at Hebron Fire Protection District. In just a few short minutes, I'm going to teach you a skill that can possibly save a life, which is high quality, hands-only CPR. We're going to keep it short, we're going to keep it simple. So, before we get into it, I want to give you two statistics to try to help you understand the importance of why you should know hands-only CPR. Did you know that almost 75% of cardiac arrests occur in people's own homes? Oftentimes the victim is one of your own family members, and a cardiac arrest can happen suddenly and often without any warning whatsoever. Also, for every minute that a patient is in cardiac arrest and is not receiving CPR or defibrillation, the American Heart Association says that their chance of survival decreases by almost 10%. So theoretically, if EMS has a 5-minute response time and that patient isn't receiving any CPR or defibrillation, then their chance of survival has already decreased by almost 50%. That is why it is so crucial that members of our community know how to perform hands-only CPR so you can help give that victim the best possible chance of survival. So, how do you perform hands-only CPR? We're going to break it down into a few short, simple steps that are hopefully going to be easy for you to remember. If you see an adult collapse, don't immediately approach them. Just take a couple seconds, assess the situation, and make sure it's safe for you to enter. If it's safe, then as you approach the patient, go ahead and dial 911 on your mobile device, put them on speakerphone, and as you kneel down next to the patient, just set your phone on the ground. 911 is going to ask you a bunch of questions, and if you're unsure about anything CPR related, 911 is going to be able to give you CPR instructions. Once you're kneeling down next to the patient, we need to assess to see if they're responsive. We're going to assess to see if they're responsive by tapping on their shoulder and loudly shouting. Once we do that, if the patient doesn't respond, then they are unresponsive, and now we need to check to see if they're breathing. We're going to do that by listening with our ear down close to their face, and we're going to be watching with our eyes to see if their chest rises and falls as it would with normal breathing. We're going to take no more than 10 seconds to do this. We don't want to get too hung up on this. If we're unsure or if we don't think they're breathing normally, then we need to immediately begin CPR. Abnormal breathing is considered gasping or gurgling or breathing only once every 10 to 20 seconds or so. That's not normal breathing. Normal breathing is easy, even, regular, and happens once every couple seconds. We can easily identify normal breathing. So if they're breathing abnormally, then they need CPR. Once we've identified the need for CPR, then we want to go ahead and find our landmarks. If we're able to expose their chest, then go ahead, but if not, then don't get too hung up on it. We're going to look for the center of their chest. We're going to go down the middle of their chest, and we're going to find their nipple line. We're going to find where these two lines intersect, and that's where we're going to put the heel of our hand. The heel of our hand is going to go in the middle of their chest. We're going to put our other hand on top of this hand. We're going to begin CPR. We're going to do our chest compressions at a depth of about 1/3 of their chest, at least 2 inches. And we're going to do them at a rate of 100 to 120 chest compressions per minute. 120 chest compressions per minute is about 2 chest compressions every second. That is pretty fast. With that, we want to make sure their chest is fully recoiling in between our compressions. We don't want to do shallow compressions. We want to make sure their chest fully expands before we do the next chest compressions. With chest compressions, if you're doing them correctly, you are going to become exhausted. So if anybody around you knows CPR, keep them nearby to swap out with you so you can maintain high quality CPR. If you're in a public place and an AED is nearby, send someone to get that AED. But if you're at home or you don't have access to an AED, then just keep doing continuous, high-quality, hands-only CPR. Continue doing CPR until EMS or law enforcement arrives and takes over for you. We're going to demonstrate CPR quickly. Notice we're doing them at the proper depth. We're doing them at the proper rate, which is pretty quickly, but we're still allowing their chest to fully recoil. And again, we're going to continue doing CPR until EMS or law enforcement arrives and takes over. After we take over, then please stick around because we might have a couple questions for you that are going to help us with treating the patient. Once EMS arrives on scene and takes over CPR, stick around in the area in case EMS has any questions for you, especially if you know the patient or their medical history. Also, a common misconception is that once EMS arrives on scene, they'll transport the patient immediately. In a cardiac arrest, this actually isn't best practice. They've been studying cardiac arrest extensively over the past 20 years, and they've determined that the patient has the best chance of survival when EMS stays on scene and works on that patient. When it comes to managing a patient in a cardiac arrest, the hospital and paramedics have almost the exact same capabilities. So for that reason, a patient in cardiac arrest might remain on scene for upwards of 30 minutes while we work on them. Thank you for tuning into our video. Please understand that this is just the beginning and that there is so much more to learn from here. Please consider signing up for one of our CPR classes. Visit our website linked in the description below to sign up. Thank you for your time.